Our world continues to change and push us in ways we have not been challenged before. On this show, we talk about these challenges, how to be aware of them, face them, and overcome them in your life. This is David Waldas, creator of the Aligned Living System.
And I'm Nick Musica, Aligned Living Coach. Welcome to the Aligned Living System podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Aligned Living System podcast. This is David Waldas here with Nick Musica. Today's topic is actually a question. Are you still making decisions based on contrast? And so let's talk a little bit about what that means. I mean, I think it's naturally how it's logical for us to make decisions, right? We go out into the world, we feel things, we go, I like this, I don't like this. I'm steering away from what I don't like, I'm steering towards what I do like. And that's a very basic way to make decisions, right? We're in our like and don't like. It's really our egoic self that's going, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. And what we're going to be talking about today is actually making decisions based on resonance. I love hearing your cat in the background saying good morning, right? It's been quiet all along, and all of a sudden, as soon as we start, it's like, meow, meow. I don't know if it'll come through the mic or not, but that's great. The animal communicator's cat is disrupting things again. It's like
her mom went to dance class, and so now she's looking for her mom. That's what's happening. This happens every time.
That's great. So fun. And so that piece of it is natural for us to go, of course, right? Like, I don't like this, I like this. All our decisions about contrast. And we steer away from what we don't like. And what we do like is often, really influenced by the things we don't like. And really what we're talking about, is the best of what's available to us. And if our thinking is in that place of, I don't want it to go this way, so I want it to go this way, we're stuck inside a small container. We're not looking at big possibilities. We're not looking at true next right action. We're not looking at our greatness. We're really, it's kind of like fighting the world for scraps. And in order for us to really create what's in alignment for us, what really is about our potentiality and expanding out, if we're looking at what we don't like, it's just not relevant to us. Of course, we're not going to choose what we don't like. But if we're focusing on what we don't like, and then looking at what we do like in contrast to that, now it's all in the same little tiny container, as opposed to feeling that expanded resonance, feeling that sense of, gosh, wow, this really big vision's what's available to me. But we're all trapped if we don't break out of that, because what we don't like creates a version of what we do like that's very small and very limited, and just a fraction of the capacity of what we can be creating.
That's super cool. That awareness. It is, right? Like, for me, it is like that landed for me, that awareness piece of, I'm doing it, but like 10% of what you actually want to be doing.
And we have no idea, right? There's not
no clue.
There's not a shame in that. It's like,
no.
It's not, we're not going, what are we doing? We're going, like, I'm making really good decisions. I didn't want that, so I chose this. I'm really proud of myself. And that's a great step, taking care of ourselves. But the next step is, this has nothing to do with what I don't like.
I used to create out of contrast. That used to be my basic operating system.
It's most people's, right?
Interesting. Yeah. For a long time, I'm like, my current job sucks. What's a better version of the current job?
Yeah.
Or this project, I can't wait to get off this project. I'm looking for a better version of a project.
Yeah.
Not what I actually want, just better than what this last thing was. Iterations of things.
Because our multiple choice bank of what we think is available is massively affected by what we don't like. And so what we tend to choose is the polarity too, in our mind, what the polarity is. And so, I've joked about this before, right? Like, I was in teaching and I loved it because, it was really fulfilling, but I wasn't making any money. And after a couple of years there, I'm like, shit, like, I'm tired of being broke and working my ass off. I'm going to go focus on making money. And then I'm making a bunch of money, but I went to sales and didn't enjoy it at all, but I'm making a bunch of money. And I'm like, gosh, I really miss having a purpose in this. But through that, looking at contrast, which I would also call discomfort-based decision-making, right? What I don't like makes me uncomfortable. And so I tend to jump to the polarity of it. We see it in people in relationships, like they're in a relationship with somebody who's super quiet and they really enjoy that for a while. And they're like, gosh, I'm kind of bored with this. I want somebody who's more exciting. And then they date a lunatic. Right? You know, you're just like, oh, is that the solution? You know?
No one comes to mind.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Right? But when we're looking at contrast, when we're looking at discomfort, it puts us in polarities, puts us in the opposites, it puts us in a small container and we don't really feel resonance. And you know, it's so what does that feel like, right? Like when I make a decision now, I'm not like the idea of what I don't want. Like, what does that have to do with the decision I'm making? I'm really feeling what's in resonance for me, and so I'm also not really even feeling what do I want. I'm feeling what's resonant
Yeah.
and go, oh, this feels really resonant with me. And it's not a feeling of like, I desire this, like, I want this, this is going to
No.
solve something. Because the moment we're in that, desire is often about this takes something that doesn't feel good to me right now and makes it better or makes it different. And that's a really, you know, a low aiming strategy. And we don't know it's low aiming because we're just trying to make things better. And so we're always just moving up and down in this kind of mid range or
Hmm.
lower and trying to figure out why we can't break through the ceiling. And it's because we're focusing on what we don't like and the contrast versus what's really resonant, what really feels like it lights me up, what scares the shit out of me, really.
Yeah.
And what scares the shit out of us doesn't usually like, oh, that feels really good. They're like, that feels terrifying, but it feels resonant. And I'm going for it. I'm going to go throw myself into this because
Yeah.
I can feel the resonance and I also have no idea what I'm doing. It feels way bigger than anything I've done before. Feels like it scares the shit out of me. I don't know how I'm going to navigate it. Perfect.
Yeah. He comes up every once in a while. The Bohuis and La Jolla event happening next week, which is
Yeah,
sold out.
yeah,
I was,
yeah.
I was just on the site.
Is it? Oh, cool. It'll
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
already be going on when this airs too, because it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday. So
cool.
yeah,
I'm
I'll be there.
reminded. I think it's like day 3 where story coach Mary gets on stage and she does a future pull,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the basic framework
Yeah.
is like imagine what that looks like. The thing you're creating,
Mm-hmm.
imagine what it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you're already
Mm-hmm.
there. And then now it's just a matter of doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she doesn't say imagine what you're currently doing now
Yeah. What don't
is
you like
like
about it?
yeah, right. What do you not like about it? Get most of that out of the equation, and then make whatever you're doing like 5%, and for you high achievers 10% better.
Yeah. And that's how we keep ourselves safe. That's how we keep recreating the same thing, just a little bit better version of it, and a little bit better version of it. And then we slip and then we go into a worse version and then we start to work our way up again. But it's incremental, it's small, it's trapped, it's scraps.
It is terribly limiting.
And it's exactly how we're trained to do it. And so if you're looking at your life going, "Oh
That's
my
true.
god, I like of course, like we've all done it." You know, as Nick just said, that's how I always did it. And then I started to think about resonance. And then I started to feel it and go, "Yeah, resonance doesn't feel like, oh, this is going to solve everything. It feels like this is what I got to do."
Yeah, yeah. That is the big difference. It feels like this is what I got to do.
Yeah. And sometimes I can't defend it logically. And I think this is a huge trap for people is that they're afraid to make decisions or take actions that they can't logically defend. And so what happens then is we get clear on something and we don't do it because how are we going to explain it to others? And if it goes wrong, how are we going to explain it to ourselves and others? Right? And if it goes right, that's great, but do we trust that? And so we end up ignoring that
Yes.
and we keep doing what we're doing until something happens where we can logically defend the steps we want to take. And maybe that's 3 years later now. Maybe it's
Yes.
5 years. Maybe it's 20 years later now. And that's a really slow process. And I
Yes.
think the big part of choosing resonance is being very okay with not being able to defend what you're choosing. And there's things that we create that you know, there's a saying I've heard about relationships, right? Like that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. That's true for
Hmm.
romantic relationships. It's true for friendships, and it's true about what we create. And so, if we get this resonant, and go, I'm supposed to go do this. I'm supposed to go create this. I'm supposed to start this business, or I'm supposed to, leave this job or this relationship, or I'm supposed to go start this, whatever it is, that resonance may be setting us up for the next thing, or maybe setting us up for what's right now. And if we think it needs to be a lifetime in order for it to be defendable, we're really not understanding how the universe works. And we have to recognize that resonance could be a reason, it could be a season, it could be a lifetime. And maybe we need to go walk into this trap. But if it feels resonance, walk into it, because it's going to serve you ultimately, even if it blows up in your face. And when we can feel that difference in that resonance, now we're fast tracking. And the fastest way, is not, it is sometimes walking into a trap, walking into something that implodes on us and go, gosh, like I got so clear. I developed these parts of me. I developed this, I shed these old parts of me that would have taken 20 years if I had just kept going between comfort and discomfort, desire
Yeah.
and I don't like.
Yeah. I mean, you're describing the work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The reason why we're on the planet, the reason why we're doing the things, we're doing the
Yeah.
work. You're describing
And
that.
if we're always looking for the sure thing, like, here's what's sure about it is it's going to serve you. It's not a sure thing that it's going to be a lifetime. It's not a sure thing that it's
Uh,
going to, you know, make you a millionaire or a billionaire or create the perfect relationship. The sure thing is that it's about you and your path. And
sure.
when you feel that resonance and you know how to, and that's like what the Line Living Tool is like, teaches us how to tap into that so that we know to move forward and we know there's something here that's going to serve us. And if we think that it needs to look great from the outside to other people, or we're a fool, like that's not what this is. Yeah.
Yes. Yes to all that. Huh?
Great insight.
That was my contribution. Yes.
And life's exciting that way. It really is,
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm just, and uh, it is challenging. I'm thinking just even recent events where I'm like, is that the right thing? Is that the right thing to do? That feels like a leap.
Mhm.
And and then and sometimes you're like, you trip before you can even leap. You're
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
was I'm on my face. I'm in the mud. Crap.
Perfect. And
Right.
perfect though too,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Because the decision was based on it was birthed from that residence. It wasn't birthed from this sucks. Let me do that thing instead.
yeah.
Um, and when that residence still remains, and you go, well, wrong leap, right path.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah,
then you go, well, maybe the leap was wrong.
yeah.
Maybe it's a couple steps. Maybe it's a sprint. Maybe we're crawling through the mud, but we're on the
Yeah.
path to whatever
Mhm,
the thing
mhm.
is that's in residence.
Absolutely, and so often we think it's about what we're trying to create versus what we're trying to learn,
Uh,
you know? And so often when something is a reason or a season, it's about what we need to learn, not what we need to create.
yeah.
And, it's funny, I had an experience just last week where something I'd been working on for like 4 months, and I thought that the experience I was walking into was about me, really working with an aspect of myself of bringing structure and order to things. And the lesson that I walked into was really like about knowing my own truth. And I can't really give the details of it because there's several people involved, but it was just such a funny experience to me of going like, this is what I'm doing today, right? And feeling such clear resonance to it, walking into it, and then having somebody sabotage what it was I was trying to create, and going, this is actually not about what I'm trying to create today. I mean, it is, like, that's all part of it, but the bigger teaching, the bigger part of it is really about my own responsibility in how I show up, my own truth, and not letting somebody else's attack or behavior move me off my center. And it was like, at first I was like, having my human moment and getting all pissed about it. And then like by the next morning I was laughing, going, gosh, like how funny is that? Like this idea, like we're moving forward. This is what I'm going to create. And those Mike Tyson moments. I love that. Like one of his greatest quotes ever is, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." Right? And that piece of like, oh, this isn't about what I thought it was about. I mean, it is, but that's secondary. What's really primary is about how do I just hold my own power and truth, regardless of what's going on, and not make it about me, not make it personal. and it was such a cool moment. In retrospect, in the moment, it was like, are you fucking kidding me?" Right? But in retrospect, I was like, "Oh my god, it was so absolutely perfect," because that was the higher knowing, the higher development that was perfect for the moment. And I've been laughing about it. Like when some of the stuff that hits me, I just start laughing out loud, even though, like, huh, interesting. I was all pissed off, you know, 20 hours ago, and now it's funny because of the cosmic joke in it. Because, what is this? What is this really about? I thought it was about this, but the universe showed me it was actually about this, a higher order. And like, I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, I would have never gotten that clear of understanding and clear of a feeling of solidness inside myself
Hmm.
if that didn't happen. And we get set up and we think we're walking towards one thing when we're following resonance. And then we get discovered there's actually something maybe challenging, but far more valuable. And when we see it that way versus going, gosh, like, why didn't I see it coming? Like, I wasn't supposed to. Like, this was about me having the perfect experience to learn and develop in some way. And it's fantastic. Unless we look at it through that lens of, I didn't like that. That was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I want
and
it to be different.
and you pointed out, I mean, it was lovely how you walked us through your experience in it, right? Because it was, I'm here with my plan.
Yeah.
Then I get punched in the face.
Yep.
And then I'm having the feelings of getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
But then there's this awareness piece that kicks in.
Yeah.
And now we're self-observing, and now we're
Mm.
seeing what's happening, and now there's something again to work with.
Yeah. And something even in retrospect, right? Like, wow,
Yeah.
what was the story I told myself when that happened?
Yeah.
Huh. What does that reveal about me? What is the truth? What is the true story? Okay. And then just going, oh, like, this is so concrete now. And I couldn't have received that internal concreteness. I couldn't have grown in that way theoretically, right? I couldn't, or vicariously. It had to be something where I was like, oh, got it. So clear.
Yeah.
And it's so valuable, and it was one of those experiences like, well, that sucked, but it didn't suck. It was absolutely perfect, like, it was uncomfortable, but was if I was trying to avoid the discomfort, never would have had the growth.
Yeah. 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 There's perfection in the suckiness.
Yeah, and resonance and going like,
Yeah.
wow. And I always think about this too of what we're working on is investment in the rest of our life. And whatever we're doing for ourselves, whatever we put ourselves through in that following that resonance and that personal development and the times when it blows up in our face, we have that for the rest of our life. And how valuable is that versus, everything's just okay. And I want to make sure everything's always okay. No, I don't. I want things to be exceptional. And if we're going to have things that are exceptional, we're going to have some shitty days on that process because there's some shit we need to clear out. There's some things we got to fix inside of ourselves. There's some things we got to resolve and there's some things we got to shed. And if we're not willing to do that, we get fine. And I know me, like, I'm not wired for fine. Like, it doesn't work for me. I'm not wired for okay. Like, I mean, I was for a long time, but now I just can't do it. Like, if it's not exceptional, it's just not interesting.
We are at the age, David.
You
We
sure
are
it's
at
not
the
about
age.
personal development? I mean, I think it's both though, because there's a whole bunch of people that, and I think there's a certain point where people hit it where they start to get more locked down, more cynical, or
100%.
we expand out and go, this is great. Like, I want to tear up the parts of me that don't work.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is not about age of maturation or whatever it may be, but we are at an age. And I mean, I'm seeing folks that I grew up with since like,
Hmm.
you know, whatever, 10 years
Yeah.
old, who are
Yeah.
talking about retirement
Yeah. Yeah.
and what that looks like and what that can mean. And in many ways, it looks very lackluster to me.
Yeah. And I feel like my engine just got warmed up. Like, I'm just up to speed now.
I feel the same way. I, I think something happens to people. And I have a friend, an older gentleman, who said, you know, I asked him, so when do you plan on retiring? And he goes, never.
Yeah.
Well,
Great
why?
advice.
Like you're in a great position.
Hmm. Hmm.
You've been running this business. You have these investments. You can.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't need the paycheck. And he says, I've seen too many people retire, and here's what
Yeah.
I've observed: when you retire, you die.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it in theory, it sort of made sense, right? There's nothing to do. There's no purpose. You're golfing all day. You're surfing all day. Well, like there's some aspects to it that sound lovely, but not the golfing. But but then what? But
Yeah,
then what? It
yeah,
does lack purpose. It lacks
yeah,
ambition. It lacks facts. And
yeah. And
you're
there's a difference between
pointing out the
retiring and
opposite.
working less too. Like, I don't need to work all the time. Like, I could work 1 or 2 days a week, or I could work 1 or 2 days every 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah, it
I can
doesn't have
fit
to
it
be
into my
full on.
schedule.
Doesn't have to be full.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be 40, 50, 60 hours, whatever your work week looks like. But the idea of 100% retirement, and I've seen it play out, and
Mm.
it's not the most attractive thing.
No,
Um,
no.
and it doesn't get better from there. So the alternative is what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and that's cool.
Yeah. And I really do feel like the more, there's all these older people that have so much to offer that feel like in their mind they're obsolete. In their mind they think other people aren't interested in it. But, sure technology is passing them by, but it doesn't mean they don't have other things to offer. And like
More
if we
so,
don't see ourselves as, yeah, absolutely. If we don't see
more
ourselves
so now.
as having the ability to contribute and and bring positivity to the world and into people's lives,
My goodness.
service is always the key to everything.
With all the experience people have, with the lack of technology as the world keeps on spinning up new technologies for the sake of what? Technologies. And some of it will find a purpose, and some of it does have purpose, but a lot of it is just noise
Distraction.
for the
Yeah.
sake of noise, right? For the sake of
Yeah.
I did something.
Yeah.
Look at
Or
me.
getting people just stuck in loops and not doing anything in with their lives.
There's a lot of money to be made on doom scrolling these days, right? Like it works. It hits something on the
Yeah.
inside. We are addicted to it. We keep on moving. That's a business.
Yeah.
But for folks who have the experience, who know how to talk to folks, who can break things down, and you don't need you are the technology.
Yeah.
You've been refining your technology for 50, 60 years.
Absolutely.
It's a lovely thing to
Absolutely.
be able to offer.
And then what's lacking in the world right now is people having their own sense of self and trusting themselves to walk and bring it out into the world,
Yeah.
and that it's okay for things to be a struggle. It's okay for things to not be easy. And our culture has turned away from that. Turned away
Yeah.
from like, oh, like avoid what's hard. And then
Yes.
there's a counterculture that says, and again, this is where that correction is, this counterculture that says, no, like do the hard things, like grind, like keep pushing hard.
Oh, that's different too. Yeah.
Right? And so versus like, "Oh, no, avoid that, like, don't grind, like, just, make yourself comfortable." Like, those things are not resonance. Those things are avoid the discomfort or go to the polarity of it, and that's not resonance. Same thing that we're talking about here. And, we need to have a certain amount of inner power, a certain amount of inner trust in order to do what's resonant, and a certain
Yeah.
amount of, "I'm gonna be okay. I can handle whatever this creates. I can handle it." And so
Yeah.
I'm okay going into the unknown. I'm okay. In fact, I don't feel like I have another choice because I can feel the resonance. I'm going to go step into this,
Yeah.
because I know I need to, and I know it'll be good for me.
Which is the basics of aligned living. It's that inner direction versus what's the world talking about today? What can I pick up from it? Mm-mm.
Yeah. And what do I like and what do I don't like about it? Which is our ego protecting us, keeping us from our greatness.
Yep.
It's really fascinating.
It's super cool.
Yeah. And
Changes
it's
everything.
funny too. Like as I was reflecting on that this morning, I just realized how far, like as we start down this path, I can't remember the last time I made a decision that wasn't about resonance, other than like a short term decision, maybe if I was triggered, like a small little window of time. But it's just become the norm of like, I don't really think about what I like and don't like. I think about what feels resonant.
Mm,
And I'm super joyful. Like I'm always having a good time. I'm always having fun. And it's about resonance, right? But if I was just like, what's gonna feel good to me right now?
ice
What's
cream.
alleviating this pain? Yeah, absolutely. Right? I'll deal with the stomach ache later. I'll deal with the ups and
Yes.
downs.
Yes.
And it's funny too. Like I hear people talk about being grumpy and grouchy, and I'm like, I kind of remember that, but like it's just not like I can't really relate to that too,
Mm,
because if I don't feel good, I have tools to do something about it, and I do something about it.
yeah.
And I also don't interpret. upheaval in my life is bad.
Yeah. I used to think growing up that every adult turned into someone who was fat and an alcoholic. I did
It's just the
because
next phase.
because that was what I saw.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I had one friend
What
who
about
was,
grouchy?
well, that's baked into it, yeah.
Yeah,
And I had one
cynical.
friend whose father was thin and active, and he did the things, and I was like, "What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's going on over
What doesn't
there?
he get? What?
What's happening over there? Why is he sweating chopping wood over there? I don't know. This some my norm is getting fractured here, right?
Yeah,
And that was way better. Sweating and chopping the wood or whatever he was doing.
yeah, yeah.
There was way more self-direction in that
Mhm, mhm.
human being than there were with the other ones that I was looking at.
And, I've heard so many people go, "I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this."
Mm,
Right. And it's so funny to me because, maybe they're talking about being in a situation that doesn't work for them, but it's not about being too old. It's like I'm too in touch with my clarity to do that. Or, sometimes they're using it like, I can't chop wood. I'm too old for that. Like, are you? Like, why don't you just start doing it? And in a week, you won't be too old for it. In 2 weeks, you
yes,
won't be too old for it.
yes,
You're too fat and
100%.
lazy for it, is what you're saying. I'm too shut down for it. I'm too
Uninspired to do the work.
uninspired to do it. My energy's too stuck to do it.
I'm too resigned.
Yeah,
Hmm. There's a different path. It's
100%.
available.
Yeah. So good, man. Well, great conversation. And yeah, it's all about, looking at our lives and going, am I in this trap of, I don't like that, I like this? All very small, all little tiny container fighting over scraps. And from that place of alignment, we find resonance. And let me just end with this one caveat too, is that if you if you are not in alignment and you try to make decisions based on resonance, that's a really bad idea, because what you're going to feel resonance with is what's out of alignment, because you're not in alignment. And so we can't use the tool of resonance unless we're in alignment. Otherwise, we just get more of what we got. This feels really resonant. I bet it does. Like you feel like shit right now. And so doing something else that makes you feel like shit feels in resonance. But if you feel clear, aligned, guided, now all of a sudden, like, oh, there's something good here for me. And
Oh
I don't
boy.
know that it's going to be like exactly what I think I want, but I do know it's going to create something really beautiful, and it's about the rest of my life, not about,
Yeah.
locking it all down today.
Man, I saw the former play out. I've seen that play out more than once. It is not pretty.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
pretty.
Oh, this feels really resonant. I'll bet it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have another drink. That feels really
Yeah.
resonant.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's so good.
So good. So necessary.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, if this is inspiring to you, check out the webpage, davidwaldas.com or nickmusica.com, and we're both, this is what we do. And the coach training is coming up really fast. We're going to be starting at the end of November. If you're interested in being a Aligned Living coach, the group is forming for this first official cohort of the Aligned Living Academy.
The
And
Academy.
it feels so fun. I love that.
Can you say
And it's
Academy
really
again?
cool.
Just Academy.
Academy, the Aligned Living Coaches Academy. It's going. And so it's we have the first participants in this official version of the coach training. Even though we train lots of coaches, this is a new stepping forward. And
Yeah.
reach out if it's in resonant for you. Actually an application on the webpage. So we'd love to hear from you. All right. Well, thanks so
Awesome.
much for listening, and have a great week. We'll see you all next week. We hope you enjoyed listening to today's podcast. And if you did, please subscribe so you can catch the next episode. If you want to learn more about the Aligned Living System and how it could support you in your life, check out davidwaldas.com.